Hello everyone, I am Vijay Katta and today we are going to study congestion control policies. Basically, congestion control is an important parameter to shape the network traffic. So, in particular, in today's lecture, we will study about the congestion control policy, difference between flow control and congestion control, then quality of service parameter, and at the last, we will study the traffic reshaping. We will focus on leaky bucket algorithm and token bucket algorithm. So let's start with our first point, that is what do you mean by congestion? Too many packets present in a network or a particular path of the network cause packet delay and packet loss. These two parameters degrade the performance. When this situation is occurred within a network or a particular path, a particular part of network is called as a congestion. So congestion control refers to the mechanism and techniques to control the congestion and keep the load below the capacity. Basically, congestion occurs in a particular part of network and mainly it's occurred near to the router. Each router has a fixed amount of memory available there. That memory is used as for buffering the packets, and each router has a fixed processing capacity. So whenever a router receives high load as compared to its buffer and processing capacity, then that particular router or particular network will be overloaded, and that network will start, means the router will start discarding the packets. So when particular packets will be discarded, sender will retransmit that one. So the retransmission policy can again increase the load on your network. So this whole condition is called as a congestion control mechanism. Now, apart from this, there are several reasons due to which congestion occurred. First is called as the flow control policy. Basically, flow control mechanism is implemented at data link layer and transport layer. But flow control mechanism is considered as a policy between sender and a particular receiver. In the next slide, we will deeply study again a flow control policies and a comparison between the congestion policy. Next one, a static routing algorithm, use of static routing algorithm. Third one, traffic discard and rejection policies. Sometimes wrong network design, wrong network analysis during the network designing phase, and most important, choosing a wrong topology for implementation of our network. Sometimes use of broadcast policies, always use a broadcast policy at network layer, data link layer and transport layer. It will again increase the load. Now, last and important one, variety or a difference of network and different network services in the internet can cause a congestion. We will focus on what are the different types of network or different types of policies which is implemented in internet. First one is called as a service offer. So basically there are two types of services that's offered in the network, that is a connection less versus connection oriented. Next one is called as addressing scheme. Different size of addresses, flat or hierarchical structure, that is subnetting. It creates a complex architecture. Next one is called as a broadcasting mechanism. Packet size, variable packet size, ordering, whether packet has been transferred in order or unordered sense. Some quality of service parameters. Reliability is another important one. So each network has a different reliability factors. Security one. Keep one thing. Always security increase the data size. We need to put override for implementation of security parameters. Next one is our different types of parameter called as a different timeouts, TTL time, flow specification, some accounting specification like connect time, packet, bytes, and all other things. So these are the few identified reasons which cause congestion. So next important thing, many times we are confused about what do you mean by flow control and what do you mean by congestion control. So flow control and congestion control both are the traffic controlling mechanisms, but both controls the traffic at different situation. So when we discuss about flow control, so flow control mechanism controls the traffic between particular sender and a particular receiver. Flow control is implemented when receiver thinks sender is transmitting more data as compared to its receiving capacity or its processing capacity. Then receiver will request to sender to slow down so that uh, all packets that has been sent by sender will be properly received. So this is called as a flow control. So it is between only a pair of receiver and a sender. On other hand, congestion control mechanism, the traffic that is placed by the transport layer into network. So this is a congestion control concept. It means n number of senders can put their data in a network at the same time. Although they have implemented their flow control with respective receiver, but at suddenly they have put all traffic onto the network, it will create a congestion. That's why we said flow control mechanism is a one reason for implementation of or for creation of the congestion in the network. Now we will differentiate between flow control and congestion control. So flow control the traffic from particular sender to particular receiver, while congestion controls the traffic entering into the network or traffic entering at the router. Now the purpose of flow control is it prevents the receiver from being overloaded by the data, while the purpose of congestion control is it prevents the network from getting congested or it prevents the router from getting congested. The responsibility of flow control mechanism is implemented by data link layer and by transport layer. So these two layers, data link layer is for receiver to sender and transport layer from end to end process, that is from process of sender to process of receiver. While congestion control is handled by network layer and transport layer, because this data has been generated by transport layer and put onto the network layer. Now the responsibility, the sender is responsible for transmitting extra traffic at a receiver side, while at a congestion control, transport layer is responsible for transmitting extra. Now, what are the preventive policy for flow control? The sender transmit the data slowly to receiver as per the capacity of receiver, while transport layer transmit the data into the network very slowly. Methods are feedback based flow control techniques, layer based flow control techniques, sliding window protocol, bitmap protocol. So these are the techniques which are used for flow control mechanism. While for congestion control, the provisioning, traffic awareness routing, admission controls are the some techniques which are used for the congestion control. Now this is the same chart in a simplified way. Now, what is the basic concept of congestion? So congestion control and quality of service, sometimes it is written as a QoS, are two issues. They are closely related and directly proportional to each other. So when we said that we are improving the quality of service, definitely congestion will remove the congestion also. So most techniques to prevent or eliminate congestion also improve the quality of service in the network. The main focus of congestion control and quality of service is related with data traffic, how safely and how fastly we can transfer the packet from one end to the another end. In congestion control, we try to avoid traffic congestion. While in quality of services, we try to increase an appropriate environment for the traffic. Whenever we will create appropriate environment for traffic, definitely congestion will be controlled. So network layer and transport layer has a responsibility to handle the congestion mechanism. The most effective way to congestion is to reduce the load that the transport layer is placing on the network or on the router one. Now this graph says what happened when congestion occurs. So on the x-axis, we have shown the input traffic load, that is offered traffic, packets per second. And this one shows the output, or called as a good put, that is the total number of packets delivered per second. So each channel has a fixed maximum capacity. So when we start, we are gradually increase the load, and our expectation is when we will put a packet equal to the maximum capacity of the channel, then after a particular load, good put will be constant. But when the traffic or load is low on the network, this is a desirable response. But under the condition of congestion, when congestion occurs, as at a particular level, network will transfer your packets, it will forward the packets, but after that, there is a sharply packets will be dropped, means there will be no output. This condition is called as the congestion. This occurred when load suddenly increase as compared to the capacity of the network or capacity of the router. So we unfortunately we cannot remove the congestion concepts because the router has a fixed amount of memory which use as a buffer to store input packet, and it has a fixed processing capacity. It means insufficient memory may be a reason for congestion. So what happened if we add more memory? So adding more memory at the router may help up to the point. But in 1987, the scientist Dangle realized that if router has an infinite amount of memory, then congestion get worse, not better. Because in each packet, we use one field called as a TTL time, time to live. So which define how much amount of time particular packet will be live on the network. After that, that packet will be discarded. If we use the infinite memory, then packet will be received by the router. It will stored or it will queued into the router memory. But when processor will process that one, TTL time will be over, and then again that we have to retransfer that condition. So infinite memory congestion gets worse, not better. So we will study the congestion control techniques. So on a broad sense, there are two types of techniques. One is called as a open congestion control. Sometimes it is we consider it as a prevention policy, and another one is called as a closed loop congestion control, that is called as a remover policy. So in the closed loop congestion, when network will be congested, we will try to resolve the issues. Now, open loop policies. So retransmission policy, window policy. I already mentioned this. The window size or window technique is basically used for the flow control. So we will reduce the window size also. Acknowledgement policy, rather than sending acknowledgement for each and every packet, we can transfer a single acknowledgement for complete window. Then discarding policy, if packet does not received in a particular order, we will not discard the higher order packets. We will buffer it till lower order packet has not been received or lower sequence number packet has not been received. Some admission policies are there. So these policies discuss as a open loop or prevention policy. And next and most important is a closed loop policy. back pressure, choke packet, implicit signaling, explicit signaling. To remove the congestions are the few techniques which is considered as a closed loop technique. Now, in the back pressure method, that is a closed loop policy. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the routers, and at router number 3, or this on this particular network, congestion occurs, means more number of packets are present here as compared to the processing and memory of this router number 3. So in that particular case, this router number 3 will send a message in a backward direction to all routers and all nodes who are sending data on this particular route. So this is called as a back pressure policy, where we will transmit a congestion information to all back transmitters. While in the choke packet mechanism, now again this may increase a traffic, and again if traffic will increase, there is a possibility of congestion. So rather than informing to all backward devices, in the choke packet mechanism, this router will analyze the packet headers and identify the respective source who is transmitting more number of packets, and only control information, that is called as a congestion information, will transfer to the only respective source via this router network, is called as a choke packet. We transfer this choke packet to only a particular source who is generating more number of packets, so that we will shape the traffic. Now, a quality of service parameters. So reliability, delay, jitter, and bandwidth. These four parameters are considered as a quality of service parameter. We always focus on the higher reliability, low delay, minimum jitter, and high bandwidth. Now, these are the certain applications which, like email, we required a low bandwidth, low delay is assumed there, jitter should be low, and losses are the considered as a medium. Like each services, each applications can implement these four quality of service parameter according to their nature. Now, four issues must be addressed to ensure the quality of services. First issue is what applications need from network. What is the expectation of application from the network? Which type of services that particular application want to implement on the network. Issue number 2, how to regulate traffic that enters in the network. Issue number 3, how to reserve resources at a router to guarantee performance. And the fourth issue is whether the network can safely accept more traffic or not. If network is not capable to accept the traffic, then we will drop down the input rate. Then traffic shaping. So traffic shaping is a technique for regulating the average rate and burstiness of the flow of the data that enter into the network. The goal is to allow application to transmit wide variety of traffic that suit their needs, including some bursts, yet have a simple and useful way to describe possible traffic pattern to the network. Sometimes this agreement between the machines or participating nodes are called as a SLA, that is a service level agreement. So to implement a traffic shaping, we have two techniques. One is called as a leaky bucket, and another one is called as a token bucket algorithm. Like a leaky bucket, we have a buffer size is here. So traffic is unpredictable. Whenever we will receive a bursty traffic, it will be queued into this bucket called as a buffer, and from the output end, we will drop the data, or we will forward the data at fixed rate. So we have a bursty traffic, we stored into the bucket that called as a leaky bucket. Bucket is nothing but the memory at the router, and then process at a fixed rate. So bursty traffic, bursty environment can be converted into average fixed rate environment. So input is a bursty one, output is a fixed rate, that is the averaging one. Now, leaky bucket algorithm we represent here. Whenever we have a new packet arrived, router check whether memory is available or not. If there is no memory, that packet is discarded. If there is available memory, then we will queue up that packet. Processor will take that packet, and finally it will departure the packet or dispatch the packet at a fixed rate. So a leaky bucket algorithm shape a bursty traffic into a fixed rate by averaging the data rate. Now this is an important one. Bursty traffic into fixed rate traffic by averaging the data. Now second algorithm is called as a token bucket algorithm. The token are nothing but the control frames. Token bucket allow bursty traffic at regulated maximum rate, not at average rate, at a maximum rate. Suppose we have taken this buffer and we have some control tokens are available. So whenever packet will queue up, it will consume one token. So whenever we have suppose n number of packets and n number of tokens, then each packet will consume one token, and whatever the rate we have get an input from network, then we will transfer the packet according to the maximum rate. As packet will leave the router, immediately new token will be generated and it will put up into the bucket. This is called